Violent, erratic, cursed, an anti-personnel mine in human form. Her friends called her Herschel, but for her controllers, she was Cascade.
Your name and your cryptonym, a dead limb twitches.
She made the cardinal error of her kind. She mistook her assets for friends. In the end, the contradictions caught up with her. It is, and was, Portofino 91, the whole sick crew, a disaster untold, the black page in the official records.
The memory hums, an exposed wire.
Reports of how it went down remain contested, inconclusive. All that's certain, it began with a phone call and ended with 6 spies lost. Some say she blew the network herself. Others blame structural factors or transnational capital. The rest just shake their heads as they look down on the smashed and leaking world. Some fool dropped it. One of ours, probably. She was recalled. They put her in the freezer. Forever, most thought. Even in those dark days, there were whispers among the lower sub-levels, where they keep the true believers. Don't count Cascade out. 5 years passed. A little more of the world leaked out of itself. Cascade's controllers ordered her back to Portofino. It wasn't the scene. It was me. There's a new assignment, Cascade. I was supposed to give you the brief. Right here, in an armchair in a safe house above a 24-hour photo shop in the city-state of Portofino. No one special, just an arm-like sac of cytoplasm, a special move you need to single-cell organisms. But before that, I was like you, a spy for the People's Republics, one of the varieties of mankind. Cascade. I should never have come. I got caught with my pants down. On the plus side, I no longer have to worry about independent thought or movement.
This was the human game, and he played it poorly. Time to give up his seat.
We're not. This is all you. Conversing with your own mental projections, reconciling the dissonance inherent to your role, like you were trained to do.
Just one of the neat tricks you've learned to keep yourself alive in theater. There are many others still to come.
Life is beautiful, cruel, full of hidden cues that I missed. Maybe next time. Don't blame yourself, operant. Whatever happens has already happened.
Splayed on the chair before you is a man, approximately mid-30s. His chest rises and falls in steady rhythm as he stares beyond you, unblinking. Alive, yet not alive. A pair of headphones have slipped partway off his head, connected to a stereo system beside him. No response. His eyes are still fixed glassily on the ceiling. Cream paint, peeling slightly. A small room in a city past its prime. Nothing to suggest why the man is so interested in it. You get no response, no flinch, no twitch. As you stare down at him, the man begins to draw. Horn-rimmed glasses, impeccably dialectical, more commonly found on book sleeve portraits of men decades his senior. Highly pleasing rubbability. Stiff collared shirt, a snug brown jacket, and nothing below the waist but a pair of red briefs. And to think, your superiors expected you both to share this enclosed space, with tendons. There is no smell of alcohol, nor any open containers. No drug paraphernalia either. Just a loose cord trailing to the stereo system. Like a cosmonaut's safety tether. Your fingers detect a low, steady hum where jaw meets neck. Elevated, but not critical. When in theatre, an operant must always prepare to be assassinated. Of course, it is better not to be killed. Then the body is disobedient and must be brought to order. The man's eyes glisten. Bright red veins blossom around their edges. He could be cursing your name or chanting absolution. However he ended up like this, the result is the same. Operant down. Clipped to the inside flap of his jacket, you find a laminated badge, emblazoned with the crest of the Import-Export Bureau of the People's Republic of Kohila. The name reads Esteman T. Below that, a title, Import Sock Merchant, one of the opera's most battle-tested covers. Notably absent is an actual phone number. Into your pocket it goes. Not even a flicker of a response. The people's spy cannot be caught shirking. Time to escalate. Your double has deserted the track before the starting gun. Will you stand for it? Pathetic. The man's breath gargles softly in his throat as you yank him up. The man's head slips 2 centimeters to the left. His jaw slides with it. You can do it, Cascade, he says with his eyes. In another life, you are both earnestly selling your cotton wares, far beyond the shadows of international intelligence. Following the cord from the unconscious man's headphones, you come to a mid-sized home stereo resting on a sideboard. A Protype 0909 50-watt with multi-disc changer. Last generation model. Designed for affordability at the expense. Through the translucent view panel, you see a single red disc loaded in place. On the face of the disc are the words, ultravioletta. You, but from a... You don't recognize the artist. The disc is loaded, ready to tell you. The chunky button makes a satisfying little thunk. The plastic latch clicks into place, and the discus begins to turn. You know because the spindle is rotating, though the speakers don't produce any sound at all. No sound, say amateur wire work. It doesn't appear to be. An artifact of no substance onto which, or do you? You can't tell. The silence is being overtaken by a different silence. like the slow darkening of night across the wall. This new silence seeps into every corner of your body, loosening fixtures, rattling drawers, seeing what will come with it. There is still no sound, but in your mind an image forms of a blasted heath, a smouldering circle at its center. Figures in tattered robes stagger and sway on the horizon. Your mind blanks, the power grid ravaged by an unseen far away. The same day you were just living. A second-floor studio apartment above the Photo 24 while you wait film lab. Slowly, you return to yourself. Nothing. You're simply playing a disc on a common home. No, you probably shouldn't. The static quiets as you reset the volume. A great relief shivers through you. A brief internal hum. Then the disc slides halfway out of the... You remove the red disc and place it into your pocket. Crimson flashes within its casing as the disc picks up. The static quiets as you reset the volume. A brief internal... You remove the... You pick up the phone. The handset vibrates in your pocket. Before you even finish speaking the word, the device connected to your phone base splits it into 256,000 The magic box, one of the proudest achievements of the opera's technical services office. Half a world away, a familiar voice splits into a corresponding number of fragments before coalescing again by your ear.
Please tell me you have good news.
The voice of authority, otherwise known as your controller.
Operant, you made it. Your voice hasn't changed.
Her voice is just as you remember.
We'll get to catch-ups later. Put pseudopod on the line.
You glance over at the man in the chair. A snail's trail of dried saliva glints on the side of his chin. You feel your mind starting to spin up. 5,000 revolutions per minute. It takes all your concentration to keep the receiver steady against your ear. For a moment, no one says anything. There's no sound at all, save for the blood in...
Has he been zeroed out?
Meaning eliminated, killed, rendered inoperant. The language of distance, a measure of cotton to muffle the fear.
That doesn't tell us much. What? Very odd. Why would he be listening to a blank disc? He's one of the most steady hands we've got. What else? So what? Your cover was meant to be sock importers. Okay, that is strange, but I don't see what it's got to do with his condition. Method espionage. Is that some sort of job? I'll ask one more time.
You must speak the word 5,000 kilometers away. In a small her other hand hovers above the keyboard, ready to faithfully record your next word. Her eyes reflect the glow. Once you say it, there's no going back. The moment.
Cascade. Yes, you do. Is he zeroed out, operant? Right. I wonder which it is. Have our enemies blown us up already? Or is this just another day at the basement massage parlor of spy services? The opera's going to hang me by the toes. For you, it's back to Satellite Facility B.
AKA the freezer, where the old, useless, and discredited are consigned until they're dismissed or die of despair. The freezer. Shiver. Resist.
Listen to me. This assignment is over. Effective immediately.
Over. Immediately.
The woman in the Photoshop downstairs, Constance. She's one of ours. Let her deal with...
Middle-aged woman, dark hair behind the counter. You exchanged a few words when she gave you the key.
Do not tell her anything she doesn't need to know. As for you, we need to get you on the next aerotram out of the city.
Already your mind is settling back into familiar grooves. Old mechanisms slide and click into position. That numberless phone line may be worth investigating. Perhaps the room contains other leads as well. They won't be expecting you back in the People's Republics for several days. Plenty of time for some self-directed espionage. There's only one possible explanation.
Simulation. That's a new...
Precisely what the facilitator of a simulation would be required to say.
What you're describing is utterly deluded. I can't... This must be some kind of maladapted trauma response. There should still be flights departing for Superblock territory tonight. Make sure you're on one of them. That's great, because you're not actually supposed to do anything. This assignment is over. Get on the next tram. If what you're saying is true, enemies abound. Don't get yourself zeroed out.
A click, and the line goes dead. A pair of men's trousers are hung if pseudopod's pants were attempting. Brown, shapeless, the front and back pockets. Your hoist-in must have compressed his lungs somehow. You discover a small extra pocket inside the front right pocket. You slip 2 fingers inside and come away with a neatly folded sheet of paper. The page is notebook-sized and perforated along one edge. It reads, THA space 7LE, half a cipher. The language of spies. You've carried papers like totally meaningless, yet no meaning can be made without it. One of the many he was trying to smooth out crease as you turn. This small table has been turned into a makeshift desk in the Operant Bureau's elaborate filing system. Red is reserved for personnel files. A small label in the top left corner is printed with one. The colour reminds you of pomegranate. Your hand hesitates. The folder opens with a whoosh. Before you, name Wilk Herschel, cryptonym Cascade. Born Landau, former Republic of Mercia. Dependents, none. Pay class D2. Years of service, 14. All true. None of it useful just now. According to the opera's remembrances, raw facts are the totality of... There's another page behind this one. It's a tingle in your fingers, your head grows. Amidst the crumpled sheets of copy paper and empty takeout containers. Smokes, ease of mind, cool. There are a few mangled... There's nothing outwardly noteworthy about this pack of Suprema 100s. It's like any other found in commissaries and corner stores across the People's Republics. Except... secreted neatly against the inner wall of the pack, just as you were once taught to do yourself, a crisply folded sheet of A7 paper. The The pack slides nicely into your pocket, as though it always belonged there. Letter by letter, words emerge from the mist. They speak in a voice you haven't heard for a long time. The day beyond the window beckons you outward. There's nothing left in there. You dial your controller's number. Roar in...
I thought you were headed out. What is it? It works.
The line goes...
Easy, lady. I just want to develop some photographs. I'm not trying... You have a wild imagination. A little photo should not count as a crime. It's not like it's a loaded gun or something. stark realities that prevent me from pursuing my interests. Also racism, maybe. What? The what? Cat? You must be huffing photochemicals with this confused woman. Perhaps you share an alternative... Very well. Photo 24 can have this round. Thank you for this extreme stress I'll now carry through my day.
divorced. I don't presume to know the inner workings of the opera, but I have to think I could be better utilized. Of course, I'm happy with the tasks I've been assigned thus far. Keeping a safe house is a major responsibility, but I have other skills, you know. Chemistry, for one. I have an entire photo lab back here with access to all kinds of toxic chemicals and powders. And yet I doubt if the assignment required it.
This is a woman who's planned countless perfect murders in her idle hours.
Of course. I just wanted you to know. It's that little amber light. It means out of order, and I haven't been able to get it to green, meaning in order.
Just looking at that thing causes you to take psychic damage.
Pseudopod assured me this machine was a vital tool of communication, as precious to our work as the magic box we installed on your room phone. You've received all sorts of technical training, I presume.
A dread beast humming with dormant power. A handless scribe. It just needs to be soothed.
I don't know whether that's intended to be reassuring. I certainly don't. It looks rather flirtatious. Oh, I'm sure it can. Seedy business attracts itself. You might... Much better, thank you.
Wrong. The sky is only 98% sky. But they don't want you to know that. That's why they're coming for me. I am Subcommandante Beckman, and this is the reality situation. No. This is a war, and I don't take orders from anyone, especially. I know about the boars. I know about iodine. Find out what I know by tuning into the reality situation.
You hear laughter and music ahead. You can still make out the lower half of the words "Silk Free" sticking out on the brick. The old factory is mangy with past identities. It has been many things over its lifetime. For now, the silk factory was once the pride and... You also have the red disc from the stereo system. You could seek out a media...
Finally, someone with courtesy. Do you know when the 9 is?
A handsome man shifts in place, glancing over his shoulder to...
Strange. I thought I saw you get off that very tram just a few hours ago. Ah, it happens. In any case, you're out of luck. There won't be another for several hours yet. I did see a man like that some days ago, I think. Near the... In fact.
Oh, sleeping brother.
No, he was alone. Why do you ask? I guess we share the same fate. I'm waiting on the 9. I was told it was having...
An exotic air about this man. Difficult to play.
Zunzark. A long way for me.
Part of the global periphery. Not aligned with one of the major power blocks. More than 20% of the world's phone scams originate from a single...
I was told it's supposed to be in service any day now. That...
Enough time to grow accustomed to new surroundings and start noticing things.
I agree. But what am I to do? It seems to be the only way out of this city. I would appreciate it. Thank you. I'll be here in...
Approaching is more the step as you on board the tram. Tram departing.
Cosmonaut suit. Its shoulder patch reads, "The stars are ours." If it is, then it's one of the few things for sale here that isn't a knockoff Lucy. A classroom with a buffed blue floor and white fiberboard tiling. The teacher rolls a square little television in on a cart. The camera follows the white column up, and then it jerks, or cuts out. When the picture returns, there's just a white cloud sprouting new white limbs. The rocket nowhere to be seen. For a long moment, none of the students can tell what's happening. Then, one by one, they realize. A faulty seal, a minor propellant leak. Next thing you know, 4 cosmonauts are splattered across the face of God. You and millions of school children the world over. Expensive, fruitless. The program's failure promptly tanks the Portaferan economy. Supreme Leader Nestor flees into his second exile not long after. As for the bazaar, it's saturated with surplus equipment, memorabilia, and replicas. This suit is most likely the latter. You once heard that the pressure in space can turn your whole body inside out. But that might be submarines. 5,000 sold. No wonder it's still here. People with that kind of money don't shop in the... Your focus widens back to the...
Excuse me. Can you take a look at this? Have you seen him before? So he does look familiar? Yeah, sorry. Thanks for taking a look. Oh yeah, he came by. Nice man. Talked a lot about stocks. He was, normal. Pretty forgettable, if I'm honest. I told him, unless your socks are mismatched and neon-colored, I'm not much use to you. Not really. Wandered off into the bazaar. What do you mean, something's happened? Did he use the phone? Nothing. Just something my dad said once. Actually, sorry. Yeah, I was kind of distracted when he showed up. Oh, that's, Ultravioleta, the Lusian pop star. Always thought that type of music was too young for me, but I've been enjoying her stuff recently, for some reason. No, but it's definitely her kind of title. Weird disc, that. Oh, you should ask Petre at the music stall over there. He'll know more. Doubt he's an ultra, though. Mi viejo, my dad. He's been missing a few days. Right, I should have started with that, I guess. His name's Enoch Klantz. He probably just started walking and got lost. Old people do that kind of thing. He's kind of forgetful sometimes. Not a lot, but I'm just worried. I told him watching too much TV was making him crazy. Bagman. Yes, that was it. After Dad retired, his friend Gilmar turned him onto the reality situation. They got obsessed, had them convinced they were truth detective, which apparently means someone who goes around looking for evidence of invisible aircraft carriers and iodine-deficient children. Dad and Gilmar were always following up on leads and calling into the show. It felt like Bagman was encouraging them, you know? That's what I was scared of. Look, this is kind of embarrassing. My dad developed this insane theory about the payphone to the western exit of the bazaar. Dad thought certain words said into the right phone gets you attention from the wrong people. He was convinced Emter was behind it all. Bagman did an episode on them, and so Gilmar started following random people, thinking they were from the bank. Not long after, he roped my dad into it. Guys in expensive business suits, usually. Foreign accents, verbally abusive, and tight with their money. Except when it comes to treating a client. Normal rich guy stuff. Hitting up the bars and shouting abuse at the local drunks. And then they disappeared into penthouses where they couldn't be followed. Yeah, that's what mi viejo thought. He went home, but Gilmar stayed out. And then he called my dad around 2 in the morning. He'd overheard something and was explaining it when the call just cut off. My dad went by his house the next day, but Gilmar wasn't there. I asked my dad if the phone call was a nightmare or if he forgot Gilmar was going on a trip. I thought maybe the show was getting into his head, you know? Dad really believed it, though. He looked for him for 2 weeks, reported him missing to the GMs. Nothing. A couple days ago, he stopped by the stall to bring me lunch. Then he said he was going to make a call. I wasn't nervous at first. I figured there was no risk of anything actually happening. And then he didn't come home. No. I mean, he just can't. They seem pretty random. I guess. When he tried to tell me I wasn't really paying attention to him. He had those written down on a pad in his bedroom. He told me not to say them if I used the phone. It all sounded so silly. Yeah, thanks for humoring me. Don't pay too much attention to it. He'll probably turn up any day now. Please don't. Just, it's a stupid conspiracy theory, all right? No point digging your nose in it. Mi viejo will probably turn up soon anyway. Why? Really? You're not going to try to make a call or anything, right? Okay. It's the phone by the western entrance to the bazaar. Yeah, they're right there. Take a look. You need anything else? Western entrance to the bazaar. Thanks for stopping.
On the TV, a giant wolf-like creature stands up on its hind legs and howls. Its fur bristles gold. Dangerous, mythical, electrifying. No wonder the kids are watching this. Suddenly, the beast roars and light floods the screen. It's followed by a wet, pulpous sound. An acceptable mimicry of a skull liquefying under extreme thermal stress. LED lights are distributed evenly along the blade. Durable PVC hilt with textured grip. Impressive armament. On the screen, a headless lupine figure standing on its back legs shakes violently. The Luz, once a powerful empire, now reconstituted as a modern techno-fascist state, the rising military and cultural power of the day. Oust the names of these grotesque fascist animals. Speak to them of the people's heroes. Notice that the broadcast is in Mercian, not Lusian, dubbed for a fun. Troubling, especially if Lusian cultural exports are what they primarily consume. A neurotically organized stall, about 10 meters west. A morose man stands there obsessively cleaning a disc-like object. A man of strong opinion that he's not afraid to shout about, even to children. Neither sounds terribly enticing. Ridiculous. These wobbling open chassis abominations can barely function on solid ground. Some Portoferans refer to Lusians as strange cousins, a nod to this island's colonial past. A mere 4-hour flight, but there are no commercial flights between Portofino and the Illuminated Empire. Recite unto them the tale of the end of history and the triumph of post-historical materialism. Child wolf hybrids have no place in the workers' paradise. How deeply has the techno-fascist enemy embedded itself into their psyches? It's been years since you interacted with children, so the girl's instincts are commendable. The boy's a disaster in waiting. Doing well enough so far. A riposte flung without thinking. She's been asked the question more than once. Portofino's rampant privatization has hit its public infrastructures too. A bourgeois district in the northern parts of Portofino. You picture a woman going over her expenses. An eternal underclass is being manufactured before your very eyes. Yeah, they have no idea. Brains lie, guts don't. So you heard. Perhaps they can confirm the woman's story. The vendor's concern is genuine then. Let's be logical. Whoever needs it more. You, obviously. Why would you take this from him? He clearly treasures the toy. Your tongue runs along the familiar edges of your canines. Spoken like one who spent his whole life around gun hammers. He's missing a few. And yet he claimed to know them all, did he not? Repository updated. All listed wolves have been memorized. Surely the people around you will love nothing more than to hear about your latest The phantom weight presses on your chest as you picture this girl, waking up each day to a world of wolves and monstrous angels. It's simple. Tell them your story, but tell it in a language they can believe in. Slowly, with great care, the boy lifts up his sword and hands it to you. The children ignore you, entranced by the television. The fire exit stands conspicuously ajar. Wrong. Ball wants to play, not wedge. Nobody is paying any particular attention. Suspiciously they're just going about their days. It's a pelota ball, the local variation of handball. Pelota balls are not designed for use as doorstops. Someone has elevated this ball to contraption status. An affront to workers' safety. Confine it to the gulag of the pocket. It's just a ball in a door. A hallway. It's just a fire exit. A fine place to hide in a moment of crisis. Marked and remembered. No, it's a trap. Must be destroyed. You emerge into the dark insides of a The fire exit remains ajar, ball wedged into the crack. The tableau stays.
Off-brand drivers, cheap plastic. Mass-produced excrement. These animals pleasure themselves in it. Collectors, art students, tourists, tote bag owners, the whole You see this? Each one guaranteed for 10,000 replays. Obscene! That's right. Imaginative faculties dulled by senseless repetition. Forgive me, friend. I'd mistaken you for a common replayer. Too much to ask, I expect, that you're a fellow Einzelton aficionado?
Yes, it is. Furs is a most people.
Go ahead. Browse away. My name's Petre. If you need anything, I'll be here. Lamenting what's left.
The vendor's eyes narrow behind his orange.
This is a media store. Not the missing persons division. Also one of the GMs with questions like that. I try. So most of humanity... This colleague... What does it look like? The sock boy. Dialectical looking glasses. Air of advanced virginity.
Back in photo 24, your would-be double gurgles his ascent.
Yes, he came by here. Little commune is lost. Adrift among the many wonders of the free market. He was dreaming big, I'll give him that. Also dreaming moronic. Your dialectical friend mistook himself for some sort of big money businessman. He wanted the bazaar to import superblock hosiery. Socks to start with, but there was talk of cotton tights, even stockings if the venture took off. No. And to be honest, I wouldn't have wasted the stock. He seemed immune to music. You're joking, of course. He didn't even know what a velo disc was, let alone an Einzelton. At a certain point, I'm just debasing myself. Of course not. I don't sell socks. So is he all right, your man? Or what? He's probably neck-deep in drug-lathered prostitutes, lobotomized by the latest in electro-pop dreck. Wonders of the... I'll be blunt. Are you with a weeping eye? Because they've been especially active here recently. Usually they just let things slide. All the Lucian merchandise. Good for everyone. But these days, they're staring right at us. Unblinking. Keep them. If things get too hot, I can always slit my wrists with a shard of velodit. My point is, your colleague was asking questions. Now, something's obviously happened, and here you are, also asking questions. Given the current climate, no one wants to answer these questions, least of all, me. I'll tell you what I told your sock friend. Speak to the boatman down by the West docks. He's the one who knows the underground goings-on around here. We're just the vendors. The cool one. Excessive sunglasses. Relaxed aura, likely on a boat. No way of confusing him. Wonderful. Now for all our sakes, please say no more. If you want to talk media formats, I'm your man. This other stuff... Culture? Portoferan? Scraps. This new Lucian mania is all-consuming. Nobody wants anything that isn't techno-fascist trash, including, apparently, their own souls.
Obsession with foreign imports. Sufferers of so-called Lucian mania will consult the wall.
That would be preferable to the truth of things. There is no politics to it that they can see. They just want something they can idiotize themselves with. But you'd think we had run out of brick walls. I take it this means Luz hasn't managed to make it into wherever you're from. Good for you.
Another victory for our great and anonymous censors.
Provincial, but silk, sad national poetry. Music, the same kinds they play in the so-called developed world, except a couple decades late and desperately effortful.
Capable of competing with Lucian media on the most basic neurological level. Fuck this. You want blood, dopamine, wolves.
Yes, exactly. That's why I'll be here, enjoying the front row seat to the downfall of culture. That is my punishment. Taste. Well, it isn't. Anything we once had has been consumed, overwritten, digested, and shat out by Luz. And the worst thing is, we know it. We just don't care. The culture blockade was designed to prevent this, but now anyone with the wits to create anything new just spends their time devising ways to get past the signal blockers and access Lucian drivel. Whole thing's a myth anyway. Failed project. Most of the crates I get from Luz come stamped by the Ministry of Mass Culture. They want it all out there. Financially tolerable. Morally abhorrent. Every day there's new formats, categories, each one more depraved than the last. Of course, I can't say that out loud. Customer, you know?
He says it to everyone.
Picture a dog that shits, then eats it, then shits again. That should give you some idea. People are what they consume. I'll say... I thought you might, my friend. Still, we persevere. Or at least we persevere to persevere. Einzelton XR, to give it its proper title. The one true, the apex of auditory technology. A high-fidelity yet dynamic sonic experience that self-effaces after a single play. Correct. It erases acid plays. The inherent idea being, of course, that you never play an Einzelton and have a more profound... Some say that was the intention behind the red color scheme. A warning, so you would never misplay it. I think it was an aesthetic choice, but... With Einzelton XR, the first time it... Where did you get this? Einzelton hasn't been available to consumers for a decade. A disc in good condition is worth thousands of sol to people who appreciate its wonders. Provided it's well cared for and unplayed. Filthy animals. Better they recalled them all years ago. Better a mass manufacturing fault than this to save them from this humiliation from being passed around like...
A light switch flips off in his eyes. He handles it as reverently as if it...
I'm sorry. UV can only be ultraviolet. Degenerate Lucian Electrodross. There's a new fabricated star every day, it seems. But she's the top of today's pile. Lucky you. This ultraviolet has gone missing at the moment. Kidnapped by counter-fascist radicals, whatever that means. Lucian marketing plot, if you ask me. You know terrorists. Meteor whores all. If it was them, then we'd have heard something, but not a peep. Things like her make me almost miss the days the Lucians were marching on the colonies. None of this is the Einzeltone's fault, of course. They can't control what gets seared upon them. No, I'm afraid it's not. No more potential, only anti-potential. Replayability is oblivion. Just a disc, is it? And we're just piles of blood and gristle? It really saddens me to hear you speak like this. I almost would have preferred if you were just a regular replayer. Instead, you get my hopes up only to dash my... You seem to have misunderstood my soliloquy. It's done. No, I hope you dispose of it with dignity. I think a private ceremony would be most appropriate. I'm afraid not. The format is near obsolete. Einzeltone is the past, yet it contains the future. How exquisite. So, your question is, Petre, how do I reanimate a corpse? I would class it as necrophilia, actually. I'll be honest. The thought is so disturbing to me that I've never entertained it before. But theoretically... Theoretically, it might be possible. You would have to repolarize, re-remnants processing, probably a concentrated magnetic flip, neodymium grade. It would involve some custom gear, no doubt, but my answer to your distressing question is yes. I think you could. Why don't you film it and make a snuff disc out of it? One for the techno-voyeurs. Don't ask me about this again. I feel unclean. Missing? Is he? I'm not surprised. That fool and his friend would wander into the jaws of a lion if they were told to. That TV show. Idiot with a bag on his head, your regular stop for hysterical lies, paranoia. Every night at 9 p.m. The old fool was always regurgitating whatever he had heard on there the next day. It's no wonder it eventually led him into trouble.
Underlying the criticism is a lament that his own paranoia has no willing audience.
Well, there was a certain period in the early years of Portofieran independence when everybody on this cursed island was holding their breath waiting for La Lutz to invade. But nothing happened. Instead, a few years later, the radio signals began coming in. Pop music, radio operas, later television shows. And here we are, on the front line, spreading our ears and legs wide open. I can't be sure, but I have reason to believe the media they let reach us isn't even the same one they broadcast to their own people. It's made for us. When the city caught on, they put up the signal blockers, but it was too late. Hopelessly. Like heroin addicts, but with no chance of rehabilitation. Shelves are over there. Mostly crass replayable formats, but such is the degenerate society we live in. Maybe not.
A low, tilting shelf marked. Various sections are separated by narrow plastic dividers, each one labelled with the same neat script. A baffling assortment. Hairdresser music, children's choirs, self-love anthems, opinionated female vocalists, and too many keyboards. A single label fills up the entire back row. L-pop. Lalouz's state-sanctioned popular music format, algorithmically optimized, ideologically vetted, and chemically catchy.
Thank you. What galls me is that it doesn't matter how I label any of it. These animals thank me for being thorough, then buy two. And what exactly would you call adults who fawn over dolled-up starlets too young to even own the rights to their own music, huh? Don't tell me you're one of them. There's not many who would admit to such proclivities. In public, no less. Don't let anyone see you with that. Still crass music on a crass replayable format, but at least it's not an active attempt to idiotize the population. I'll give you that.
You turn your attention away from the shelf. The fire exit room. The fire exit remains ajar, ball wedged into the tableaus. Canned beverages are lined up like brightly coloured soldiers, neatly regimented behind coiled springs. The refreshments remain dormant. An assortment of cargo crates, machine printed, crisp and official. They all bear the same logo, tiny gold dot, a shipment with last week's date from the Luz, the Illuminated Empire. A maze of hastily drawn letters and numbers stands in contrast to the printed labels above. The symbols range from A to D, 0 to 9. One of them has been slit open. 2 packs are missing. These crates here aren't exactly state secrets. Anyone with a keen eye and nimble fingers could do it. You look around to check if anybody's watching. As your fingers touch the carton's edge, an assortment of cargo. You approach the steel door. Faint oxidation halo. No response. There's still no response. It's locked. Still locked. Try one of the many doors that are not locked. You step back from the door. The Guardia Municipal officer is intensely. The folks who guard property rights are not worthy of answers. Scaly reliefs and cracked plates, like some diseased armor. Common boar deterrents, loud noises and strong smells such as predator urine, placed in strategic locations. Animal. The way he intones the word mother suggests a primitive monotheist before an image of a graven god. No damage either. Touching, the kind of bond only two pigs can share. Must find Borsen. A tinge of affection. But not dead, he reckons, by the way his face curdles. That's a lot of skepticism around reported. The largest corporate entity in Portofino, a monopoly over the city's telecom. Hard to argue with a non-existent point. As you step away, the gate is bound to the pole, but you push the gate. The metal creaks, but it doesn't move. We're gonna need tools for this. Rust speckles your fingertips. A system compromised at the subatomic level. The man doesn't react or turn as you approach.
I saw you by that fire exit. You even went in. No. My eyes were on that fire exit. I was really hoping you'd close it. It's a flagrant disregard for safety. It's made it quite hard to enjoy the view. If you get the chance, that'd be greatly appreciated. Still, you've come a long way. Fortunately, the view just about compensates. I'm being punished. My employer has placed me in an impossible position. I'm a safety inspector, watching the lines. As you might have noticed, this pylon is under construction, technically. It's my role to ensure the lines and pylons are all built according to code. And this line, Line 9, will never be finished. Then they would be waiting a very long time. Where to start? This pylon's angle deviated more than expected as the concrete set. Hazardous near water. Shouldn't have skimped on materials. Then there are the clearance issues. The party alley rooftops are higher than the building department's official records. I'm the safety inspector on this segment. Construction can't proceed without my approval. Approval I cannot possibly give. Since the last round of enter stabilization, they've been trying to force us lifers out. We can be fired, not easily, but they can take away the work that made us stay in the first place. I have two options. I could falsify my reports and declare Line 9 safe for construction anyway, or I could quit. Either way, the company can lose. It's exquisite, really. A perfect stability resulting from opposing tensions. As an engineer, I can only admire it. Of course, I'm also a man. Fortunately, this spot lends itself to reflection. Contemplating my punishment helped me see how to live with it. Perhaps that's why you are drawn to this great height too. But you know, the view's not mine, just in case. I'm a structural engineer. I believe in stability. What Emperor has brought isn't that. Their version of stabilization shifts the responsibility of managing entropy from the state to the individual. Human existence always carries entropy with it. That's inherent in the system. Social insurance, pensions, fair wages, these are measures against the entropy of living. They're also expensive. Such is the price for joining the developed world. There's entropy in all systems. No living thing can avoid it entirely.
Terror to most, but for those with a taste for it, this is the kind of sound.
A friend of yours? Oh, all right. Quite a formal-looking man, yes? He was here just the other day. He had a conversation with the music vendor over there. It did not seem pleasant. I couldn't say. I couldn't really tell. You're welcome.
Whatever thoughts you try to summon are carried away by the wind whistling through the metal. The crisp air sends a pleasant tingle through your abdomen. The man gives no indication of registering your presence as you approach. He's genuinely perplexed. It must be slain. A jolt of fear snaps through you, but you manage to not let it show. A film of water, grease and rust gives the machine a scaled quality. Designed and built in Portofino, Back when the city still had the industrial capacity to manufacture. You scan up and down the docks for machinery. A gust of wind turns the crane's hook toward the dock workers. Water drips from its hook, the colour of cold, rough, unfeeling. Seabirds squabble overhead. You return to the old seabird squab.
You again. Any updates on the night? But how can that be? A gentleman from...
A handsome foreigner. The Carabineros were
You'd think with all the empty money this place has gotten, they'd have... What am I supposed to do now? I was simply passing through on my way back home to Sundark. I had been working in Copablanco. That was more than a week ago, and, well, here I am.
Despite his predicament, he's kept up with...
There used to be a more direct route via Havergelia, but the border has been closed since it was re-annexed by La Luz. It's not so easy to get around as it used to be, you know. I'm a political economist by training.
It must be said, this is the most handsome political economist you've ever encountered. Something about his jawline makes you overly aware of your skin, your posture, your right nipple hardens.
Well, not in so many words. Circumstances. I studied on a very generous MTER stipend, one of those programs to take gifted but under-resourced youths from the periphery and educate them in the development. But recently, the Sunnis government bought its first computer. Suddenly, they found they no longer have any need for political economists. I hope what you say is not true, though I fear this is the future some have in mind for us.
One national computer in the right hands could be, as they say, a game changer.
Long story short, reality forced me to make alternative arrangements. How to put this? You're surely familiar with the concept. A somewhat rich, older lady wants a nice exotic husband without the lifelong commitment, yes? Meanwhile, a clean, well-behaved man from the periphery wants to see the world but lacks the necessary capital. The woman pays for his relocation and gains a valuable commodity. A hike, a man by mail, a direct order dick. There are many names for it, some more vulgar than others. I offer companionship and a fair trade. If you consider it as a set of transactions, love's really no more than an economic problem. Where else can one find men so clean, attentive, strong, and conversant in political economy?
He seems slightly offended that you're not already familiar with the reputation of Sunnis men.
In other circumstances, I believe it could have worked out brilliantly, but alas, in my case, endogenous factors conspired to thwart my domestic bliss. I disagree, madame. What's dehumanizing is to be poor, and to do nothing about it. I will tell you, madame. It was the lapdogs. All 6 of them. Not these dogs. Trust me. My betrothed. She wanted them to watch our lovemaking, my cleaning and housework, my lectures on recent advances in microfinance. Wherever I turned, there was a creature the size of a throw pillow, its black, wet eyes staring at me.
Watching, trembling from invisible afflictions.
At one moment, I wondered whether I was there for her pleasure or theirs. That's when I realized I need to escape Copa Blanco as soon as possible. Back to Sunzak, very far from here. Maybe I'll go to work for my brother, or maybe I'll sign up for a term on the lunar mines. Really, I just want to escape the developed world.
Being sent to organize among the lunar cadmium miners is a common punishment for political offenses in the People's Republics. It is a privilege to raise class consciousness among our lunar comrades. The man turns back to his suitcases.
I'll print. Our strange cousins. If it's between your superblock and La Luz, I've made my decision. I wasn't selling anything. You know, you're very cynical for a communist. I imagined you would have cared more. I'll be here if you...
The stereo is right where you left it. You slot the disc into place and hit play. You step away from the equipment. The gate is bound to the pole by a thin steel rust speckled. A system compromised. The gate is bound. Rust speckles. A system compromised.
Oh, it's you. Oh yeah, she's cool. Intimidating too. We hang out sometimes in the back of the stall. She's been... What? That's so dangerous. You could have been killed. Or worse. I hope that's not true. But if you're sure about this, then... further... Thank you. Okay, look, I think I know why you didn't get snatched. Mi viejo mentioned something like that. Gilmar had been snooping around the waterlock to the east of the bazaar when he got snatched. That might be the missing bit. No idea. I think Dad looked around there himself, but before he could tell me what he found, he was...
Gone.
Just don't get hurt. And please, please come back. What takes your fancy? You need any... Thanks for stopping by.
You approach the steel door again, this time knowing who it belongs to. Silence from the other side. Below you, the social static of the bazaar muffled by distance. You get no answer. No, but you get an impression of the room. A vibe. No answer. Silence. A brief tremor runs through them. Humans dominate doors every day. Hurl this one back down the pecking order. Your Russet called for you. Whatever's behind this, you can take it. Mercy kill this door. One well-placed kick. Cascade is back. Immediately awkward. Should have used the other foot. Yeah, about to hurt very badly. Neurons firing their way down your leg like dominoes. Fortunately, you kicked the door right on the handle. Because your shit kick broke it. And the lock is now... dead. A layer of dust covers the desk, along with a grey notebook and next to the frame is an eye with a long single teardrop, shaped out of a fine white powder, the unmistakable symbol of the weeping eye, the secret police of Lelou's. It's soft and ringed. The word accounts is written across the top in black marker. A thicket of serial numbers, dates, columns and rows cover the pages top to bottom, along with shorthand references to accounts, both incomes and outgoings. As you flip through, 2 sets of handwriting emerge from the sheets. One matches the title accounts on the front, while the other is tidier and appears only in the very last entries. There are none. The first set of handwriting even uses the word cunt with the same wild abandon as the second. The first set of handwriting dates back years, a sloppy all capitals which must belong to Tempo. The second, newer set appearing about a week ago is an elaborate looping cursive. Some of the eyes have hearts instead of dots. Boring, boring, boring. A list of names, titles and compensation. One of the rows has been firmly crossed out, and payments seem to have stopped a few weeks ago. Ignatz. It doesn't ring a bell. Rent, utilities and other minor operating costs, including travel. Multiple instances of round-trip tickets between Portofino and Acuerda Lelou's. Acuerda, a coastal city of the illuminated empire's mainland, a corrupt commercial centre functioning as the launch pad for Lusian goods, directed at the developed world. You avert your gaze. The pale screen reads Miwa Terminal Model 4, and the crying powder eye stares at you. It's either a warning related to the world historical information you're here for, or he has become a brand ambassador for the enemy. This... The dial is somewhere between yeah and totally. As you turn the frame around, dust falls and a blade of light momentarily obliterates the row of faces presented. Inside your stomach, a family of spiders start crawling up towards your throat. Fuck. Rising from the damp cellars of regret. Taxman. Estoc. Virtue. Radiant. Kindred. Holocene. Known to the opera as the whole sick crew. Unknown to you as those friends you left to die 5 years ago. You abandoned them. They were counting on you, but you only thought of yourself. You scared, selfish little cunt. Do you smell the crippling failure oozing from your skin? Do you slip the photo out of the frame into your pocket? Yes. You turn from the desk. You step to the window. Beyond, you gather up your sleeve and exhale onto the window, where your breath reveals a clear handprint in the dust. You raise your hand and place it gently onto the memory of his. Someone else has been using this office, more recently. Across the canal is the district of Lower Vudas, a haggling mess of slums, continually sprouting from the defunct ruins of itself. Nighttime finds the bazaar nearly empty. You observe a few teenagers and individual souls going about their routines. Just like the former overseers of Silk Number 3. Standing at this window, studying the movements of the dye workers, looking for signs of disturbance. Or signs of the revolutionary consciousness organizing itself. No, just human beings making their lives in the cracks and undersides of a disposable period. Known to the opera as the Whole Sick Crew.